you can see, we're still having tea.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is my Mad Hatter makeup tutorial for the NYX Face Awards first challenge. So if you guys want to see how I created this non-poison Mad Hatter makeup look, then just please continue watching. Oh hey, with my bare face, so the first thing I'm doing is blocking out my brows. I do have a separate video on this, so I'm going to link it in the description box below, but I'm just showing you guys really quickly on how I do it. I just take a glue stick and I apply it to my brows, and then I'm just going to be powdering over that with NYX Hydra Touch powdered foundation in the shade Ivory. To hide them even more, I'm just taking this NYX Mineral Stick foundation in the shade Fair, and I'm just going to be applying that over my brows, and then just going to be blending that out, and then just going to be applying some more of that powder right on top of it. After my brows are covered, I'm just going to move on to my hair now. So all I'm doing is parting where I want the clips to go, so I'm just sectioning off where I want it to be and then just back combing it so the clips have something to hold on to, and then I'm just going to be clipping it on. So this was a full wig, but I cut the U part out and I sewed clips onto it, and then now I'm just clipping this onto my hair, and then after I clip it onto my hair, I'm just going to be making a middle part, and then I'm just going to be flattening it over the wig. So to get the bend in my hair, all I'm doing is taking a curling iron and I'm just going to clamp my hair into the barrel so it leaves an indent into my hair. And you're just going to repeat that same process on the other side. Now I'm just going to hairspray my hair on top so I can flatten it out, and then I'm just going to brush it and then just blow dry it flat down onto the wig. Now to match my hair in with the wig, I'm just going to spray it with this orange hair color spray. Next, taking the NYX Be Gone makeup remover wipes, and I'm just going to wipe away any orange spray that got on my face. So since my hair is short on the sides, I'm just taking liquid latex and applying that to the edges of my hair, and then I'm taking these pieces I cut off of the wig and just going to be applying that to the edges so it appears that my hair is longer, which it really isn't, but just to get that appearance that my hair is longer on the sides. And then just cutting it to the same length as a wig, and it should look something like this. So I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. Picking up NYX's Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, I'm just going to be applying that over my brows and a little bit above it, and then just going to be blending that out, and I'm also going to be applying this onto my lids. And I'm also going to be applying this onto my temples and then just going to be blending that out. Taking the liquid latex again, I'm going to be applying this over my brows, and then I'm just going to be placing some hair that I cut off of the wig into the Mad Hatter brow shape, and then I'm just going to be placing that over the liquid latex and then just going to be letting that dry. And then you're just going to want to repeat that onto the other side. Next, picking up the NYX Vivid Brides liquid liner in the color Vivid Delight, I'm just going to be filling in the brows where there's sparse areas. Now just going to fill in the other eyebrow. To prime the face, I'm going to take the NYX Hydra Touch Primer and I'm going to be applying that onto my face. Picking up the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, I'm just going to reapply it onto my lids and then I'm going to be blending that out. And then I'm just going to set the lids with the NYX Finishing Powder in Translucent. With the same Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, I'm going to be applying this all over my face and onto my forehead and down my neck. And then I'm just going to be blending that all out with a beauty sponge. And don't forget your ears. And I did pick up some white face paint onto the sponge to blend it in with the Jumbo Eye Pencil so it was a more opaque look. And then I'm just going to be setting the face and neck with the NYX HD Finishing Powder in Translucent. Moving on to the eyes, I'm taking this NYX Full Throttle Shadow Stick in the color Electric Surface and I'm going to be applying that just to my left lid. To set that shadow stick in place, I'm going to be taking the single eyeshadow Turned Up Apparition. I'm going to be applying that all over on top of that shadow stick. Picking up another shadow stick in the shade Femme Fatale, and I'm going to be applying that to my right eyelid. And then just going to be blending that all out. Taking another shadow stick in the shade Find Your Fire, I'm going to be applying that underneath both of my eyes in a circular shape, and then I'm just going to be blending that out. To set that shadow stick, I'm going to be taking the single eyeshadow in Wild Orchid, and I'm going to be applying that over that pink shadow stick. To deepen underneath my eye on the left side, I'm going to be taking this Primal Colors eyeshadow in the shade Hot Red, as well as taking this high definition blush in the color Bitten, and I'm going to be applying that over the Wild Orchid eyeshadow to deepen up just under my left eye. And I'm also taking that Bitten blush and I'm going to be contouring the sides of my nose with that and also my cheekbones. So all I'm doing is drawing two straight lines on either side of my nose, and I'm just going to be blending it outwards, and then I'm going to be blending it into the inner corner of the eyes so it blends in with the eyeshadow. And then I'm just going to be contouring my cheekbones with that same blush. So I'm just going to be applying it into the hollows of my cheeks and then just going to be blending it down on either side of my mouth. Going back to the nose contour, I'm just going to be fading it out a little bit more and then also going to be deepening up both lines on the sides and then just going to be blending that all together. Picking up the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk again, I'm just going to be applying that to my left eyelid and then I'm just going to be blending that all out. Next, I'm just going to be curling my upper lashes and then I'm just going to be taking the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk again and a spoolie, and I'm just going to be grabbing some product onto the spoolie and then just going to be running this through my upper and lower lashes. Next, to line my right waterline, I'm just going to be taking this Electro Liner in Sizzling Sun and I'm just going to be running that onto my right waterline. And then I'm just going to line my left waterline with the Slide On Glide On Stay On eyeliner in the shade Pure White, and then I'm just going to be running the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk on top of that. To deepen up my right waterline, I'm just taking the Primal Colors eyeshadow in Hot Red. I'm just going to be applying that on top of the liner into my waterline. Moving on to the lips, I'm just taking this NYX lip liner in the color Bloom and I'm just going to be lining them in a Mad Hatter shape. Next, taking both of these NYX Liquid Suede Cream lipsticks in the color Pink Lust and Amethyst, I'm going to be applying that to the back of my hand and mixing the two together to get the perfect shade I want. And then after I mix up the lipsticks together and I got the perfect shade, I'm just going to be applying that onto my lips with a lip brush. So I still felt like the hair was a little bit too long, so all I did was just trim it down a little bit and hairspray it and tease it up. So I totally forgot to apply an eyeshadow on my right eyelid, so all I'm doing is taking the single shadow in Electroshock and I'm just going to be applying that on top of that shadow stick. And then after that, this look is complete. This is the look with the contacts in and my costume on. So now we're just going to move on to the poison side. So the first thing I'm doing for the poison look, I'm just taking the stipple sponge and I'm going to be picking up some of the Femme Fatale shadow stick, and I'm just going to stipple this all over my face and then just going to be blending it out with a beauty sponge. Next, taking this lime green shadow stick in the shade Poison Proper. What a perfect name for this look. So all I'm going to be doing is the same thing I did with the other shadow stick, and just going to be stippling this all over my face and then just going to be blending it out with a beauty sponge. And why I'm doing this is to give the skin a sick poison look. Next, picking up the NYX Full Throttle Takeover Control Shadow Palette, I'm just going to be taking that Plemish gray shade from the quad, and then I'm just going to go over everything with this. So I'm going to be applying this to the hollows of my cheeks and also underneath my eyes and also onto my temples. Next, to get rid of my lip color, I'm just going to be taking some white face paint and just going to be applying this over my lips with a beauty sponge. Next, taking another Full Throttle eyeshadow palette in the shade Stunner. I'm just going to be taking that deep blue in the palette and I'm just going to be applying this onto my eyelid and then just going to be running it all over my face to give that deathly poison glow. Next, taking the NYX Primal Color eyeshadow in Hot Black, I'm just going to be applying this to the inner part of my mouth. Now, I do drag it out too much on either side of my mouth, so I'm just taking the beauty sponge with some face paint on it. I'm just going to be applying that over so it fades it out a little bit, and then now just taking that Plemish gray eyeshadow from that Full Throttle eyeshadow palette, and then I'm just going to be applying this over my nose contour and drag it up onto the front of my eyebrows. And then I'm just going to be now spraying my hair with this white hair color spray. So now I'm going over my lips with the white face paint to get rid of some more of that lip color, and then I'm going to be scrunching my lips up, and then I'm just going to be applying the black eyeshadow so it leaves creases into my lips. And I'm also going to run it into the inner part of my mouth again, just because we lost it when we reapplied the face paint onto the lips. And then now I'm just going to be picking up that Primal Colors eyeshadow in Hot Black again, and then I'm just going to be applying this onto my eyelids to deepen them up. And now this is what it looks like with my contacts in, and then now I'm just picking up the NYX Primal Colors eyeshadow in Hot Red, and then I'm just going to be creating veins with this under my eyes. To add darker veins under the eyes, I'm just picking up some of that Plemish gray color from that eyeshadow palette, and then I'm just going to be creating more veins with that eyeshadow. So how I create the veins is I just do one squiggly line, and then I just add some more lines coming from either side of that one lines, and then I just go over that with some white face paint so it looks like it's underneath the skin. Next, to make the veins look a little blue, I'm just going in with the single eyeshadow Electroshock, and I'm just going to go over that and then just going to be blending that out. And then I'm just going to take the translucent powder and also powder over it just so it looks more diffused and underneath the skin. And then you're just going to repeat that process on the other side. And I'm also going to be creating some veins onto my chin and forehead. Picking up that Hot Black Primal Colors eyeshadow, I'm just going to be applying this into my nose and a little bit below it. And then I'm just going to be blending that out, and I did drag it too far down, so all I did was take the sponge with some white face paint on it, and then I'm just going to be blending that on top of it so it diffuses it. Next, I'm taking this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Strawberry Jam, and I'm going to be applying this underneath my eyes to give that irritation look. And then I'm just going to be blending it out with the beauty sponge so it's a little bit more faded out. And that is the finished Poison Mad Hatter. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you guys are not subscribed to my channel already, please hit the subscribe button down there so you're notified when I upload next. And if you guys aren't following me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, that is all Cameron Polito. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say except if you guys want to vote for me and get me to the top 20, all you need to do is go to NYXFaceAwards.com, sign up with an email, and you can vote 3 times a day from the 20th through the 27th. I'm hoping with all your votes, you guys can get me to the top 20. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.